my firm is different than other firms in several ways. One of the ways is I have my own investigative unit. My in-house investigators who are comprised of all former law enforcement individuals. These guys have a lot of experience doing criminal investigations. They now work for me in the private sector, and they're very good at what they do. And one of the things that I do with every case that comes in, I sit down in day one with my investigators, and we come up with a strategic plan on what to do and how to investigate it. And they'll go out, they'll interview witnesses, get statements, get documents, gather any evidence that we can up front before we even file the case. And so that's important. I think that puts us at a distinct advantage for when we do file the case. I know where I'm going with the case, and I have most of my evidence sometimes before I even file. That's important. Number two is one of the things that I've been able to develop over the years is some very specific ways of interviewing victims and interviewing kids in particular. And I actually have been trained to do forensic interviewing. I've studied it. I have a lot of experience now in interviewing victims, and so I actually train law enforcement on this now. And so I have particular methods that are forensic ways or forensic methods of interviewing victims. What I mean by that is that the interview of a child victim needs to be done in a way that, number one, uses forensic techniques. And that means not leading questions. That means interviewing kids in a way that is going to preserve the integrity of their statement. Number two, it means doing it in a way that's empowering to the victim, not re-victimizing the victim. And that's really important because the way a child is interviewed, or any victim of sexual abuse is interviewed for that matter, is really important to their healing. Because I know, because I've heard straight from the victim's mouth who have been interviewed, I think, with poor techniques, is they felt re-victimized. And so obviously what we want to do is help victims, and so it's important. And we have a lot of experience here doing that. The other thing is my firm is geared to only represent victims of sexual abuse. That's all we do in this law firm. And so because of that, we're able to set ourselves up and organize ourselves in a way that I think really sets us apart from other law firms. We know what we're doing. We know how to file the cases. We know how to get the evidence. We know how to protect the victims. I know the experts in this area that I'm going to use in my cases across the country. And so those are, I think, are important reasons that allow us to be successful and really help victims.